Aha! Day 3. In the place to be. Oh, and I've got a high-pitched wind. Don't want that. Get rid of that right away. How are you?
Good morning. Day 3. Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, yeah. I was just sorting out some records, and I found a copy of the reissue of Rubber Soul.
Nice.
Which is lovely, and I know the album very well, but to my shame, I bought it, and I've never actually opened it. It's still got the seal on it, and this to me is a cardinal sin, because if I bought a record and I haven't opened it, it's worth more sealed, but actually it kind of says you just bought it. It's like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they just put it all in the storage, so that's bad. So I'm going to have to play that later on, basically. That's my homework from myself.
We had one of our friends from our town has been live streaming himself playing guitar on Twitch, actually. And shout out Lewis Hannum if anyone wants to check him out. And I won the competition to ask him to learn a song live last night, and it was "Baby It's You" by the Beatles. I asked him to learn. Such a tune. So, but also incredibly panned. So if you don't have headphones, it's like you only get the instruments or the voice. It's really weird when you play it out of a phone speaker.
Yeah, Beatles stuff is like that because they recorded it in like 8 tracks and bounce it all down. Yeah. It's like Dark Ages stuff, you know. This is like the Hosers, and they're all kind of like they just shoved the bass and the drums together on one channel because they didn't have enough channels because the EMI wouldn't pay money for it because it was pop music, not regarded as proper music. So there you go. How times have changed. So, chewing the fat here, talking about music. Hope you're all out there in Modual land. Day 3. Can you believe it's only day 3? I certainly can't believe it is only day 3, but it is. And thank you for a great day yesterday. I want to go through some feedback and some really useful feedback. And I'm just we're gonna talk about it now, me and Abby, and hopefully, we were going to respond to it. Let's just see what we got. So there are a few comments saying that you would rather have it in the morning rather than the afternoon. So apologies. We've had to schedule this all many months in advance, and I also feel like the morning is probably the time when my brain is most creative, able to do stuff. And the idea, I think, of the talks a little bit is to sit back and relax, and after a hard day's work, and just get a talk coming at you. This will lead me to another point later on, but we are recording all these sessions, so if it's really too much for you in the afternoon, there is the option to kind of park it. Quite when you're going to watch it in the next 2 weeks, I don't know, but there is that option. So apologies that we're going to have to stick with that for the moment, but we will take it on board and see if we can restructure it so future generations may benefit from that comment. And Ashley, you were talking about the blast theory content yesterday, which was a bit provoking and controversial. And I know Matt responded to you directly about that. So yeah, again, please, if we can make that clear. We are, of course, tackling a lot of difficult topics here, and there's been more than just that have come up already, I think, in questions. So we'll try and be more aware of that. So apologies again for that. Yes, if you are challenged by anything, just step away from it. Obviously, the joy of being online, you're not in a lecture room, you could just turn it off. Please feel free to if you're feeling uncomfortable in anything in this workshop, please tell us, but also feel free, just to step away and obviously, let us know, and we'll see what we can do to sort that out. Which leads me to breaks. Yesterday was a big day. They're all big days, to be honest with you. And apologies if we didn't enforce the breaks quite as well as we should have done. We've created this structure, and you may have noticed that we're slowly kind of letting you have a bit more freedom, and that will only increase over the course of the days. So we've had a little chat about it, and we're definitely going to make sure we encourage you to take breaks. You will be creating your own schedule. So again, I would suggest, minimum take a 20-minute break in the morning, and we will try and queue that up for you, and then take a full hour for lunch. And when you do take breaks, please step away from the screen and I would even recommend you don't look at your phone. I don't know about you, Abby, but if I get off work and I go to Instagram, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very easy to not want to, to want to check your emails or follow something up. And I think that's a bit of an issue I have with the creative industries at the moment is this like constant need to be online and doing way more than any generation I think ever has. So yeah, I'd say if you can get away from it, you could also during the talk in the afternoon, like just like completely turn your screen brightness down. Like you don't, and also with us as well, if you don't want to, if you want to give your eyes a little rest, you can always turn the brightness off of your computer screen so it's just completely blank and just listen to us, because there's a lot of times in the workshops where it's not necessarily visual and you can just hear instead, and that can give your eyes a little break. But I'll post into the info channel, there's a little guide on kind of I think it's like 20 minutes looking at a screen, 20 minutes closing your, not 20 minutes, 20 seconds closing your eyes, and then I think 20 seconds getting up or something like that. So I'll put that into the info channel for you guys also to help with you. Yeah, I get it. I understand. I'm a glasses wearer, so it's quite strained on my eyes, but yeah, I'll send that to you guys on info.
Great. So we'll do our best to encourage you to take more breaks. That's some really useful tips there from Abby. And please, help each other. You're all in these groups for the moment, and encourage you to take a break. Come to a consensus. It can be tempting just to kind of work. Please don't do that. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Cool. Okay, and that leads me to the last point I want to make. There was a great piece of feedback about how we have a whole variety of on this workshop. There's a whole variety of both language, English language, and technical capabilities, we are doing our best to make sure we have a really level field. And again, if we can, I'm sure you're all very keen to join in making that the case. So there's a variety of ways in which we're doing that. We're going to be doing more note taking. There were some great notes that some of the staff made. I'm going to shout out to Connor. I think I was doing Matt from Blast Theory's talk. So we will take as many notes as we can. The slides that we show you, we will put on Slack at the end. So that means if you have, if you're struggling kind of keeping up with this, then there will be another place to go for that. We are also going to be putting the recordings of these sessions up in multiple formats, so there will be a place to go to see all this stuff. Obviously, it's all being broadcast on the Modual TV channel, and there are archive recordings there. So I'm hoping that will help things. But the other thing that I want to say is that there's a reason why, when we talk about the brainstorming sessions, we ask you to go around in order, because it's very easy when you have a conversation that's more casual for someone who's very confident to dominate that conversation. And there's a great kind of model that they have in it's an improv theatre land, and I'm a big fan of improvisation. And they say, imagine you've got a box in front of you, and on that box is a counter. All the words are being counted, and there's a number going, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 on the box. You want to have pretty similar numbers on all your boxes. That would be the dream scenario. And the best way to do that, in my experience, is to kind of go, okay, so we've gone to person number 1, now we're going to go to person number 2, now we're going to go to person number 3. And there will be a time, I'm sure, it's very easy to go back into that more fluid conversation, but you want to keep the debate as fair as possible, make sure everybody's voice is heard. So yeah, I hope that's useful, and look after each other. We can't be everywhere, I'm afraid. There's so many of you. Yeah, I'm sure if you kind of embrace that moving forward, that would be useful. And the only other point I want to make, forgive me, I'm forgetting who posted this feedback, so acknowledgements to these points. I'm sure you recognize them, whoever posted them. But someone was saying that the group, they found that some of the exercises were frustrating because the group was too big. You will be in smaller groups soon, so stick with it. And yeah, if you're feeling like your voice is getting lost, don't worry. The next stage tomorrow will be about a realignment of that, and we'll cover that when we get there. So I hope that is useful. Any other thoughts on that, Abby?
Not really, just thank you for giving us that feedback. I think we always, in all of these workshops, it's funny, you probably hear it, but it doesn't fully resonate, but we are definitely taking this workshop with you a lot of the time. And, it's been running for a good 5 years now. And when I took it as a student in 2016, it's almost completely different. You know, we listen to the students that are a part of it, and then we change it and adapt it. And that's why, you know, you guys are so important. We're just a structure and a framework. You guys are the real workshop here. So thank you for giving us that feedback. And please, yeah, let us know. And if you don't ever feel comfortable chucking it in the feedback channel, you can always DM me or a member of Module staff too. So.
Right. Well said. Okay, so now we are going to have a warm-up exercise, and this is a fun one. So this is just a thing to kind of get us going, and we're going to model it for you. So let me share my screen. I'll go through some slides. So you should now see a slide that says drawing exercise. This is a drawing exercise that the surrealist artists used to do, and we're going to do it for you now, me and Abby, and then we're going to ask you to go and do it. So this is how it's going to work. In a moment, after I've explaining all of these instructions, please go into a video call on Slack with your buddy pairs, your buddy partner. So the same person you're a buddy with, and if there's some issue there, just let the module staff know. So go into Slack and do that call, but do not close this Zoom call, just for housekeeping. You can just leave the Zoom call open. Just keep your camera and microphone off in the Zoom call, and then when you go into the Slack call, which you can do through that buddy, there's an example of me and Molly as buddies, then or you already established a DM with them from the buddy things already, so you can go straight there. But then you want to start a video call with them. Here's a picture of one window you might get if you haven't done this before, but I think you all have. So in fact, all you're really looking for is that phone icon there. So when you click that button, you will go into a two-person video call with your buddy, just like you did yesterday and the day before. Okay, so we've got that. Zoom call still open, cameras off, in a buddy call, camera on, microphone on. Great, so there you are. And me and Abby will model this next bit in a moment, imagining that we're in that Slack call there, that two-person Slack call. So get your pen and paper. Here is a pen and paper. You have your pen and paper in front of you. Step one. Step two, set your phone timer, and I only need you to do this, doesn't matter who, to 1 minute. Just 1 minute, okay? And then just press go and draw a picture of the other person. Draw a picture in 1 minute of the other person. There are 2 rules you must obey. So you're drawing a picture of the person you see on the screen, and here are the 2 rules. Firstly, do not look at the thing you are drawing. Only look at the other person. So you're only looking at what you see on screen as you draw. So you're doing this. Oh, you want to look. You do want to look. You want to look. You can't look. Don't look. Okay, that's rule number 1. And rule number 2 is don't ever take your pen off the paper. So you're drawing one continuous line with your pen. Thus. Okay, so those are the 2 rules, and the minute will finish, and when it is over, you will show each other your pictures. And when you've done that, you can have a little laugh, and then come back into the room. And what I mean by the room is the Zoom call. Okay, so let's just whiz through that one more time. Get paper. Set your phone timer for 1 minute. Draw a picture of the other person in that 1 minute. And there are 2 rules. The first rule is you cannot look down at the paper. You have to look at the screen. Yeah. And the second rule is you can never take your pen off the paper. When you finish that picture, at the end of the minute, when the alarm goes on your phone, show each other your pictures, and discuss maybe for a little bit, and then come to the main Zoom room. That is the instructions for the surreal exercise. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Now me and Abby are going to do it. So I stop sharing, off. And we're going to do it. All right, here we go. So I will time. Is that okay? You got your paper? You got your pen? All righty.
Ready to go.
It's always quite nerve-wracking, this, isn't it? I don't know why. Here we go. All right, and begin.
Okay. Where do you start with, Fred? I always start
I go
with
eyes.
nose.
I usually go eyes, but then you got the mess of getting to the rest of the face. That's the problem. That's where it all goes wrong. But hey,
I always do nose.
Okay. We've done it before. We're still going to be rubbish. Okay, now my pencil on the paper. Oh, I'm going to draw your headphones. Is the big question here. Yes, I am.
Oh, I definitely just made a bad line.
Yeah, well, that's all right. And you got a scarf? Got a scarf.
Oh, collar.
Oh, look. Eyes. Oh, my God. Going back to the eyes. Just wild guesses of where they are. Okay, and that's got to be a minute, surely. Okay. All righty, I'm ready to stop now. Come on, phone.
Oh no, I know I've just done something bad.
There we go, time's up. Okay, that's not my finest work, but hey, I'm now going to show you. Oh, dear. Can you see it?
Oh wow.
Oh, yeah, I think you win. I think that is actually recognisably me.
I'm not sure what this is.
Yeah, isn't it? That's just a big bunch of hair. And you got my beard all right, and the shirt's good. I think, what did I get? I got your glasses, but then the eyes are nowhere near it. I made the mistake of drawing your glasses first, and then I had to try and guess where your eyes were. So there we go.
Amazing.
Okay, very nice. I'll stick that on Slack for you at some point. Alrighty, so now we're going to ask you guys to do that. So again, let's just go through the tech one more time. You stay here. You stay on this call. Just make sure your cameras and microphones are shut off, are closed. Go into Slack and find your buddy and do that. I'm only going to give you 5 minutes to do this. It shouldn't take you more than 5 minutes. So we'll be back here at 20 past to get on with the next thing. Okay, 10:20. Go do it now and come back, and we want to
Can you see me okay?
All good. How's my lighting?
Are we starting already? Got it.
Have we started, Maria?
It's
all right, okay, let's just go. So
Can you see me? Okay, I'm
yeah,
gonna press start.
ready
now.
when you are.
Go.
All right.
Okay, hold on.
Oh my god, this is
Oh,
hard
God.
already.
I thought starting at your glasses would make it easy, but
Oh my god, I've started at your glasses as well. This is so
at your nose. Your mustache. Oh god.
Oh my god, where? I've got to a point where I'm like, I don't know where to go now.
I think I'm at your forehead, but like, I'm not sure.
This is gonna be so. Oh, I apologize.
I'm at your other ear. When's the time I'm gonna stop? Oh god. Okay, let me do your hair. Let me look. Time's up.
Oh my god! Oh, it's literally looks like a baby's done it. Oh, yours is good. At least yours kind of looks like you. Mine is just a mess. Oh my god!
I'm not even here though. I am sad.
Mine's awful. I apologize.
It's okay. One day when you become super famous, I'll just sell
yeah,
it.
I'll give it to you, and you'll be able to sell it for £1 or something. Oh man, well it was fun.
Yeah, it was good.
And then we're going to shut the door on the ideas. But I have to say, it was different, and you guys have really surprised us by just how prolific you have been with your ideas. Now, we always set the prize. They're always the same goals. Forgive me, just gotta look at something here. It's always the prize for the most ideas. It's always the prize for the most out there ideas. There's always 2 prizes. You've got enough ideas. I've seen the count. There's enough ideas on the table, and the prizes, let's be clear, are a bit of fun. You know, they're just intended to kind of stimulate you to go broad, but they're not a big deal. And the main focus here is to get you to collaboratively and together choose your favorite ideas from this. And given that every single group has hundreds of ideas on the wall, I am going to call the prizes now, because I want you to spend the last brainstorming session thinking about what you actually want to do. And I've said this a couple of times, and Abby said it as well, but I'm saying it again. On your wall, ideas are somewhere on that wall of ideas is the one idea that each of you will work on for the rest of the workshop. And I want to focus on that a little bit more now. And to choose it, you have to understand all of the ideas on the wall and pick the ones you like best. I'm going to do that this morning. So the prizes are now over. We have the count, I'm going to award the craziest idea later, but I will now say that we've got multiple coloured groups. So forgive me, I can't actually refer to you as your colour. But the prize for the most ideas is going to go to the team that had the most input from staff member Connor, and they got over 600 ideas, and that is A, impressive, and B, is going to be a lot to sort through later on. So, so yeah, there you go. Congratulations to you guys. Yes, there will be a prize. I think I'm going to award the prize later on with the other prize, because I want to get on with this now. So after we've finished the brainstorming, I'll tell you how we're going to choose the most out there idea and which group will have the winner from that. But I'm going to focus now on the brainstorming because I like to get on with it a little bit. So congratulations to that group. The actual prize is going to be announced shortly, and we'll get that over to you. But well done. Well done for getting as wide as you can. But as I said before, and I'm saying it one more time to be super clear, now is the time for your project ideas. What ideas do you actually want to work on for the rest of this workshop? If you have an idea and it's not on the wall, it won't be made. That's the bottom line here. So you have we're going to do another half an hour max, I think, for you to put any other ideas out there. Don't worry about quantity. Don't worry about out there ideas anymore. I'm taking those two prizes off the table. So both of these prizes are gone. Perhaps you might want to think about clustering some ideas. Maybe if you've got like half a dozen similar ideas, you could do that. There will be another part of the process that will help you do that. But if you want to look at your wall, stick any other stuff up there, discuss any ideas that you think you need to understand, and we'll give you half an hour to do that right now. So if we can be back here at 11, and then we will tell you how to vote, because at 11 o'clock we are going to choose the ideas that you like the most in each of your groups, and we're going to remove all the other ideas and leave you with just a few, and I'll explain all of that later. But that's the job of work to be done now. Abby, what you got?
Couple of things. When it comes to clustering, you can actually cluster if you want by color. You can change the color of the post-it notes. When you click on it, there's a little colored dot. So I've seen some fantastic clustering already. Yeah, you can draw out lines. You can definitely leave the box if you want. You can go outside of the box. And like you can make your own little areas, but yeah, you can use the line tools in Miro to section stuff off, or create yourself some headers with the text, or have sticky notes. Also, if you guys could make sure, so that we can put you guys in your client groups a bit better, please make sure your name on Zoom is the same as what you would have sent us for your register. So just make sure you've named yourself properly, not just a bunch of numbers. You can do this by clicking on the Participants tab and hovering over your name, and it will show you to click to rename that. So please make sure that you've actually got your name in there rather than just like a bunch of numbers. And when you get into your client groups, because you guys are going to be chatting and trying to understand each other's ideas and maybe asking questions about it, please make sure if you've got headphones that you can put in headphones. If you haven't got headphones, that you find yourself a quiet spot to chat in, because I think, yeah, then you guys can really hear each other's ideas better, and it will give you guys more chance of those ideas getting through if someone can understand what you said about it a bit better. So yeah, headphones, rename, cluster, have fun.
Well, the next instructions. I'll tell you what, Abby, you think? I'm tempted to give them a little bit more time. To give everyone a little bit of time. What do you think? We've got a bit of space.
Yeah.
Let's give them. Yeah, we're going to give you another 15 minutes. All right. So let's go to 11:15, and that means that again, do take a break at least. Okay. You've got 45 minutes to discuss. If you did it all the way, you'd have been on screen for an hour and a quarter, which is probably too long. So do step out, come back in, whatever you need to do. We're going to trust you to stay organised. So 11:15 is the new back here time. All right. Go cluster. Go put any other ideas you want. Go
just chilled and slept. But I hope you all had a nice evening and morning as well. Oh, and I'm sure everyone's in like different time zones, so different times. Yeah, morning, afternoon, and evening. Okay. Is everyone on the Miro board? All good. Okay, great. Let me pop mine up. Okay. There. Okay, great, amazing. Let me know if anyone's having like difficulties accessing the Miro board, whether that's like internet issues or etc. And we can figure it out. Great. Yeah, so we have so many ideas. And yeah, we can like add more. Of course, like if anyone comes up with any ideas, you can just like go on the Miro board, add more. But as Fred said, we're going to be voting for the next stage. Yeah, so later on. So I'm thinking it's very important to kind of like have it very, how do you say, like with any project proposal or like project idea, it's good to be like concise and to be like clear as possible. So also as Fred and Abby mentioned, it might be, I'm thinking it would be a good idea to like put them into clusters to see like what kind of themes we have within all our ideas. So how does that sound for everyone? Does that sound good? Okay. Oh yeah, and feel free to until yesterday it was quite like structured. We were going in circles, but like feel free to just like turn on your mic and like speak up if you have anything you want to say or like any ideas that come up in. Okay. Yeah, so how should we do this? Okay. Oh, well, first off, like, does anyone want to, like, did anyone come up with like ideas, I don't know, like last night or like yesterday? And does anyone want to add any on there? Yes, Sushmita?
So I added a few after we finished the workshop yesterday.
Mhm.
I saw other groups, the way they have organized ideas. So they have numbered each sticky note so that it's arranged. Maybe we can club ideas and number them so that we are organized on our end as well.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Yeah, I think there's a lot of ideas that are like similar in theme, so
yeah.
let's do that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, does anyone have questions or concerns, comments? All good. Okay. Great. Okay. So let's head over to the Miro board. Yeah. Like also, if your like background's not noisy or anything, like you can just keep on your microphone. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Okay. Yeah, so these are so if you zoom out a bit, like on the left side of the board, I kind of wrote down, well, three themes that are kind of reoccurring themes that I saw, but like feel free to add here. Thought it might be like a good starting point. And we can just maybe go through, yeah, maybe we can go through each one from the top. Do you see my cursor? I'm kind of, yeah, but anyway, top left corner, pop-up school for unprivileged kids. Maybe we can start there and then start clustering it into groups. Okay.
Yeah, and I have a suggestion for that. Can we color code the 3 subtopics that you have identified and then change the color of the sticky notes accordingly? It becomes easier, I think. Martina, you wanted to say something, I feel.
Yes, I also want to add that like we can add also social theme to our board. And also I agree with Sushmita. I think it's a great idea to cluster them also by colors.
Okay, let's do this then. Okay, so I'm gonna color code the themes right now on the side, so you can all like kind of start changing the colors and putting it into clusters. I'll just do that quickly right now. Education. Let's do environment.
Can we just pop our notes around like education? Is it okay?
Oh, sorry, can you repeat that again?
Yeah, can we just put our sticky notes around the education? This is how we do it, right?
Maybe first we change the color of the sticky note and then we can arrange it, because if we start moving everything, it can be a bit messy.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, and feel free to like add more themes if you see any. I'll just put these on the side, and then we can make new ones as we go. But yeah, okay. Should we? Okay, so pop up free for all international emotional educational system teaching. Oh, and also because I think we have so many ideas, so it might be like really difficult for us to like narrow down for the next like voting stage if we have like too much. So what we can also do is like if there's an idea that's kind of you know, like how some of the ideas that we came up with, yes, and it was kind of like very like off topic, I guess, in a way. So like we can kind of get rid of some if we want to do that as well, or we can just keep it in there, but it's our choice. Yeah. Okay. Okay, pop up. I think Miro board has like a limit to how much you can zoom. And some of them, the text is a bit small, but yeah, I think we can read it. Oh, thank you. Pop in center promoting conversation and asking questions. Okay, decenter.
Can we increase the size of the sticky notes a little larger for text which is not legible? Because I feel some sticky notes have more amount of words on them.
Yeah, of course. Wait, let me do that right now. So we needed to like fit it in the board at the end when we do the voting thing. But yeah, we can increase it for now. Is that big enough? If that's big enough. Okay, yeah, I think it's maybe a bit more.
Also, there are ideas about apps and websites. Probably we can add a theme for these ones. What do you think, guys? About probably...
Yeah, like a digital solution. I guess you can add like a thing called digital solution.
Exactly. I think, yeah.
Okay, let me make a new post-it note. Okay, digital solution.
Sorry, Anna, are we all just changing the colors? I'm just finding it hard to know which ones to analyze. I don't know which ones like other people are looking at, and I don't want us to like color code one that's maybe already been color coded. Is there a way to like divide? I don't know. We can each do a column or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we can go column wise so that we are focusing at the first column first and then we proceed. Otherwise, it's going to be a hodgepodge.
Okay, so let's start. So where is everyone right now? Are we kind of just like each?
We're everywhere. I think everyone's just anywhere on the board.
Okay. Should we do the first column first? Kind of.
Yeah. About education.
Oh, sorry. Can you repeat that again?
Yeah. Are we doing the column about education?
I was thinking we can kind of go through like each post-it note in order. We can go like column and then kind of, yeah, go through in order. And then we'll see like which one goes into which theme. Does that sound good? Okay. Yeah. Okay, so I'm assuming, okay, so wait, let me put my Zoom screen and the Miro board on the same page so I can like see you. Okay, hope I can do that. I think it works. Ah, great, it works. Okay. Okay. So yeah, the first one is like definitely education. Wait, let me. And then Apple people can check music. Okay, digital solution. Green restaurants. That seems okay. Oh, let me. If anyone has any, like, if we've already kind of started color coding, but if anyone wants to put it into like a different theme, you could just like say that. Yeah. Okay, green restaurants. Environment. Learning the difference between mental health and mental illness. Yeah, that's cool. That goes into mental well-being. Let me move this so it'll be easier for us. Oh, sorry. Okay, great. Okay, reuse food waste. We don't throw it away. Yeah, environment. Summer camps for children. Yeah, that seems good. Education. Use visual storytelling to communicate through experiences like living. Education. Yeah. And friendship app where you can't see the other person's picture, you just talk to them. Okay, and this is under, maybe, I'm thinking this is like a digital solution. What does everyone think? It's the last one in column 1 about the friendship app. Or maybe even social.
I think it's digital because it's an app. So I feel like digital makes sense.
Digital? Okay. I'm gonna make this orange then. Okay. Okay, should we move on to column 2? That sounds...
Maybe, can I propose something? Because I think that what Medina said, that maybe we can, once that we did the first column, we can start to move it around so we see what's done. So that, yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we can then.
Oh, Kasha, is it okay if you... Did you say we could go through columns? Is that...
Oh, yeah, I said that once maybe that the stickers are color coded and checked, we can already place them into certain groups. What Medina proposed, so that it's not in the same space, because then it's really hard to orientate ourselves.
Yeah, maybe like horizontal rows across or something.
I just made the columns, just look if that works for you, and we can just make, this, what we coded under these sticky notes. I just made them, horizontal, so we can put...
That's a good idea. Okay, let's do that. Okay, and once you move that, let's move on to column 2. Okay, oh, it's looking good. Okay, great. Okay, have we gone through? Yeah, I guess we'll already changed colors for some other posting. Free for all international national education system. Okay.
What do you think about storytelling spaces? Is it more social, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I would say social. Social, maybe education. I feel like some of them can kind of go into different, like multiple themes, but maybe we can choose the best one or like the one that fits most. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think this is quite an effective way to do it. It seems like we're getting through them quite quickly, which is really good.
It's a good idea. Should I make a new theme called like health, but more like physical health, or should we make mental well-being into like health in general? Does that sound good?
Yes, it's a good idea to rename mental well-being to health. I think it's, generalizes.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. I'm gonna change this one. Well, what does everyone think? Okay, decentralized governmental system that encourages an open dialogue between communities in order to do what's best for the common good. So I've turned that into social, but does that sound good?
Yeah, I think I wrote that one. Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
There is this one that's an umbrella that generates energy due to the raindrops. I'm not sure if that's an environment or digital solution or.
I think it's environment because we are harnessing like a natural energy.
That's pretty cool.
Hi, I want to point out something. I feel some of us are just placing the sticky note according to the color because on the first arrow, first column, give me a second, I'll just go to it. Under health, the third sticky note wala idea, storytelling for people, country, that should go in social and not health, I think. Yeah. Somebody is doing, okay, I'm doing the arrow thing.
Storytelling from
Can
people.
some of us just recheck and reread if something's
Yeah, we can go. Yeah, we can start like going through them. Just make sure it's in the right category. But I'm assuming this one is more of environment or education. What does everyone think? Environment, education,
maybe education, because
I think it's education, more like education.
even I feel it's more of an educational branch.
Education. Okay, I'll move that to the education.
There's something that's happening at the bottom where
yeah,
all
exactly.
the green ones are going into a box.
What's happening at the bottom?
Mine are disappearing. I'm moving them to like the rows and then like to the columns,
right.
and I think they're going behind that second thing. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just placing them and they disappear.
They're getting aligned horizontally for some reason, which shouldn't be happening. I do not know why that's happening.
Yeah, because below of all the sticky notes, there's like a box and they get arranged in the box automatically, I think. Maybe we should like group the ideas in bigger clusters and not just like columns, but like.
Yeah, because I think
let's move them.
It's easier to visualize too instead of columns, because if you've got a very, very long column, then you have to go and scroll down. So we've got like boxes.
Yeah.
Maybe it's easier too.
So these are, do you all see like the box border? So these are like pre-made boards that we're gonna like unlock later for our other exercises. So yeah, we can use them right now, but we'll not. We'll probably have to like move it back to our main blue group. The board with the blue borders, but we'll do that later. But for now, yeah, I think it's a good idea to cluster it in those pre-made boards. So I'm gonna move around some of them. Okay. It's really interesting. Like it's really interesting to see like on the Miro board. I just see everyone's cursors and okay. Okay, okay, how about this one? A smart window that can modify the scenery to your desired weather. I think from what we were discussing, I think this is one of the ideas that came up yesterday.
I think that can also go into digital, because I feel like a smart window requires like AR and all of that. So I think you should just go into digital.
Okay. Use that to orange then. Where's the orange? Okay. Okay, how about this one? Encouraging people to consume less. I'm thinking maybe.
I think that's environmental.
Environment.
An education name?
Education, yeah. Education. Okay. Okay, I'm thinking if any of the ideas are kind of like equally in two different themes, like I'm kind of doing this right now. Where did it go? But maybe we can add a sticky note in the corner, but just like of the other theme's color. But what does everyone think of that? That's good. Or it might get a bit complicated. But yeah, feel free to do that as well if you come across any ideas that are like across two different themes. Okay. Using new materials like second possible. Okay, so I'm gonna move this one. So using new materials like recycling plastic. Okay, someone already did it. Okay, we're doing great. I think we're like almost done with classifying and making clusters. This is a difficult one. Like, let's not use walls, but use light instead to make different spaces. I'm thinking maybe social, but
I would say that if we, sorry.
Oh, no.
If we rename the digital solutions to technology, then that goes to technology, maybe.
Oh, that would be okay. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, let's change that. That's a good idea. Oh, someone already did it. Okay, great technology.
Yeah, I did it.
Great. We're like almost done. So I guess the walls, lights instead of walls, that can go into technology. I'll move that there. Great. Okay, I think that was the last one. But yeah, feel free to like continue to add ideas if anyone comes up with anything, other ideas. And I'm thinking, so we have to be back at 11:15 to the main Zoom room. And I'm thinking maybe we can take like a mini break right now. We've been working for like 25 minutes. Yeah, so how about we come back at 11 a.m. We can just keep our Zoom on and then just have our Miro board open up. We'll have a short break and then tea break or something. And then I'll see you all in a bit. Yeah, 11 a.m. Yeah, 11. I'll see you in 4 minutes. Okay. See you in a bit.
Hello, folks. Back in a minute. So, yeah. New time to close the doors on the brainstorming. I hope you guys had time to have a little break in that time that we gave you some extra time because we were listening to your feedback. You're drinking a high-pitched wine. You don't want that. Sorry, just getting some links going. There we go. Yeah, so yes, it's 11:14, so any ideas that aren't on the wall in the next minute are not happening. But you've got some great ideas. You don't need any more ideas, you know what I mean? It's like hundreds of them, hundreds of great ideas. But yeah, it's a moment, isn't it, when you shut the doors and suddenly there are no new ideas allowed in. It's, everything's on the wall. And yes, nothing more can be added. Yeah, it's a little moment. Part of the procedure. We're definitely going down the hill now, folks. Definitely heading towards that point. Cool. So in a moment, I'm going to talk you through what you need to do now, because we're going to vote on our favorite ideas. And I'm going to talk you through some slides, and I'm going to show you the mechanism. So here we go. Hey, Abby, how's it going?
Good, good. Yeah, just running around backstage.
Oh, yeah. Whether the magic happens behind the curtain. Nice. I'm just talking about next steps. So, yeah, I'll just throw some slides out there just to talk you through exactly what the is, because I wrote them all up, so I might as well do it. Right, let's just do the sharing thing. Forgive me, folks. I'll be there in a second. All right, here we go. So you should now see a slide that says back here at 11:15 for next steps. It is 11:15. Here are the next steps. So now we are going to focus. We're getting down to the favorite ideas that you have from this whole wall of ideas that you have in your group. So it is time to choose. It is time, in fact, to vote. We are going to use the voting mechanism in Miro, and there will be, it's just like Eurovision, there will be two rounds of voting are going to happen in Miro. So we're going to have one round where we're going to get down a bit, and then another round where we get down to the final ideas. There will be another thing happening tomorrow, but I won't tell you about that right now. But this is the beginning of the focus. We're coming down the hill into the land of structure. So here is how to vote on Miro, that slide says, and then I leave the presentation and I continue to share, don't I? Because I could just do this, couldn't I? Whoa, ninja style. Oh, how's that? Abby, can you now see is that where I should be?
Yep, there you are. You're perfectly in the right spot.
So I'm now in Miro, and here I have a lovely board.
Yeah. So you guys should then, find your board, zoom out enough so you can see all your post-it notes at once. And then you are going to be prompted by me that the voting has now started. So top right, Abby has started a voting session. Vote now.
Okay, I will vote now. Excellent. All right, let's do that. So I'm clicking on the vote now button. Boff. All right, so presumably, let's have a look at this. Let's zoom in a little bit. I want to have some let's have a look. I'm going to go for this idea. Boff. All right, so I like that idea. Click. Oh, look at that. It's popped up. 4 votes left. I've got another 4 to go. All right, I'm going to choose that one as well. Actually, you know what? Please don't take this personally. I've changed my mind. I'm going to choose a different one. I'm going to choose that one. So I click the plus bottom right. And then if it's over here, here are the 5 ideas. So I just pick 3 more. 1, 2, 3. That's, yeah, here we go. That one, you get through the end. So here are my 5 ideas. I'm all done. I could press the done. Hang on a second. I changed my mind. I'm not going to vote for that one. I'm going to vote for this one. There we go. Now I am sure. With 13 minutes left, I have no votes. So I'm going to press, unless you've got any other instructions for me, Abby, I'm going to press the done button.
Nope, yeah. So please make sure when you've chosen your 5 votes that you press the done button.
Here we go. The moment of truth. I am pressing the done button. Those are my 5 votes. Done. And now I can't change them anymore.
Nope,
oh, I'd really like to change them, but I can't. I don't think I ever can. So there we go. So please don't. Go on. So.
No, it's all right, carry on.
I'm just saying, don't press done until you're done. At the same time, we don't want you to take forever about this. So how long are we giving them? Is it 15 minutes?
So yeah, you get a 15-minute timer. So when I press go on all your boards, 15-minute timer starts, and you get to, that will always be on the top left. So if you want to spend the whole 15 minutes kind of looking through, having a look, choosing, you can always put a vote on something if you would like to kind of note it and carry on looking, and then you can always unvote it if you feel like you've changed your mind afterwards. So yeah, so just keep that open. Make sure top right you'll get a notification saying I've started the voting, and you will have 15 minutes. There is no leeway on that 15 minutes. It is 15 minutes.
Hello, Mr. Structure. How are you?
There you go. The structural energy is coming in, and it will cut off at 15 minutes. So please make sure you get your votes in before then. If you're struggling on that, you can have a little message to us, and we'll sort it out for you guys. I know people have found my grey boxes that I hid on Moreau for a later purpose. So please ignore those. I will fix that for you. I've just seen a message from Orange Group, so I'll come in and sort that out. But yeah, if you can't vote, give us a shout, put it in your channels, and a member of staff will come sort you out. Oh, Zosia, yeah, Zosia has just like messaged me again saying, there it is. You can only vote on sticky notes. It doesn't matter if it's fallen outside of your box of your group, that's still included. I know that you guys have got 600 ideas in one of them as well, but you can only vote on the sticky notes in your little section. Please do not snoop on other boards in your Moreau either, because that will be vote fixing, and I will have to put you in jail for that.
Oh dear, there you go. Structure, loving it. Cool. And then at the end of that, we're going to give you a 20-minute break to go and get a proper cup of tea. So it is now 11:20, 15 minutes to vote, 11:35 with the deadline for voting. So if you come back at 11:55, that I think is the right timing. Yes, it is. All righty. Hope that's clear. I'm not going to wait for questions here. I think you should go and vote. 15 minutes is fine also to sort the tech out. 5 votes, 5 different ideas. Pick your favourite ideas. Don't look at anybody else's votes. Oh, I don't think you can actually, so that's irrelevant, isn't it?
You can't. I will just answer one question that I just saw.
Go for it.
Which is, there will be 2 rounds of voting.
Yes.
It's round 1.
Yes, there's a good point. I mean, it deserved repeating, absolutely. This is not the final vote. There is another round of voting coming in a month. So there we go. All righty, you got stuff.
individual ideas. And please make sure you click. Does anyone have any questions at all? Look at this concentration. Look at you go. Yes, Manoj?
I think the search button is no longer active in the voting session. That's what I think.
Oh, is it to say,
Oh, I'm glad it's not just me then having a moment.
That's so annoying.
So
yeah.
Do you want me to search anything? Because I'm not in the voting session and I can find out where it is. If you want to, Michelle, if you want to tell me what the idea was.
I've just literally found it now.
Oh, dream. Anybody else need some help?
Education.
Cool. Well, if you do, just let me know because I'm not actually in it, so I can help in any way. So exciting. I can't see what you're voting, so that's really exciting. You got plenty of time, 11 minutes is ages, so you're all good. You've got this. And feel free to go out of your comfort zone a bit as well. Like you've got like 5 votes, that's a lot of votes. So feel free to go for one that's a bit like, I've not worked on this before. I want to kind of expand and broaden my project base of like whatever you want to kind of work on. But there's no strategy with the votes. The votes are the votes. No strategic voting here. Oh, I really want to vote now. Look at you all go. Is it easy to navigate? Is everything okay? Like, do you feel a bit cool? That's good. If you're having any problems, let me know because it's a huge amount of words to get through. Just shout some feedback out if you need anything. Just make sure you get your votes in. Look at you all go.
Oh, it's really difficult.
It's hard. It's really hard. Normally we do this and there's post-it notes. When we're in the physical space, there's just post-it notes everywhere. So this is a little bit more manageable with the fact that they're not all falling off the wall and stuff. And remember, they are just like minimal viable ideas. You know how you have like a minimal viable product? It's kind of like just look for that potential, look for that kind of spark in the idea. There's always something that you're like, that's cool. That could really work. Ages of time, well over 5 minutes. You are all good. Oh, loads of time. I thought it was like 5 minutes left. 7 minutes, 7 whole minutes. If you finish early, just again, give your eyes a bit of a break if you're pretty confident, but just make sure you press the done button. Because I would hate for one of you to miss out of your vote for not hitting done. Can you see, what are you seeing? Are you seeing what other people have voted for? Or can you not see that either? No. Oh, the suspense. This is crazy. 300 ideas.
Oh, it's really difficult.
How many you got left, Michelle?
None, but I kind of wish you could have like a debate and then you can kind of finalize it, so you can kind of narrow it down and then just hit accept. But it's going to there's quite a few that are very similar, like in information.
Yeah.
It's really positive.
That's the nice thing, is that if, you know, even though we're doing the voting, that if there are similar, they can all kind of feed into each other. So we'll make sure you make a note of everything before the next stage.
If I finish early, can I just stop my video and microphone and go for a break?
Absolutely, please do. That is good, like best practice, literally just knowing when to kind of stop. So have a little bit of a break in good, and I'll put up details of when we are back in the room on Slack.
Okay, I'm done. I'm gonna go on my break now.
Great, you've got about 5 minutes, so enjoy. I'll see you back in the, just, you can keep your camera on, you can keep your in this room and it will take you back to the main room if that's easier.
All right, what time do we have to go back?
It's like 5 minutes. So it will be, you've got 5 minutes left, so 11:35. So just a bit of time to just take a quick walk.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
See you in a bit. Just under 3 minutes left. Plenty of time. Keep reading, just take your time. And then if you finish, grab a break and you'll be taken back to the main room when we're ready to kick off again, probably around 11:35.
Can anyone find a sustainability tag, kind of something with sustainability tag?
Just looking for you now. Do you know what it kind of sustainability shop, sustainability tag?
Yeah.
Sustainability tag reflecting the product's environmental footprinting. That's in future environment. It is on the 5th row down, right in the middle. On a pink one. I'm kind of hovering over it right now. You're really close to me. I can see you.
Oh yes, I found it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. 1 minute left, so get your votes in. You okay, Ella? 54 seconds. You've got this. Oh, Will, you're all like, ah. That is terrifying. 39. Done. Yes. Legend. He's gonna do the 5 second, 1 second. That gives me anxiety. I'm actually sweating a bit. Like, that's just not my style. Whack the brows. Oh gosh, the pressure's all too much. Day 3 and we've lost Will. Amazing. Okay, that's it. You're done. That's so exciting. My goodness. We got the votes in. I can't see them. I don't even know how to see them. I think like we need a regroup. How was that though? Does someone want to just say, like, was it good? Like, was it quite hard or was it okay?
It was really hard actually.
Okay, nearly done. You had a nice tea break. And I'm sure you've seen on Slack, I know that some of you have been struggling a little bit with the voting, and apologies there, but yeah, it's we're still gathering some stuff, and yeah, I know we're going, and there's another round coming. So if you didn't get a chance to vote in this session, don't panic. You've still got time to get your voice heard in the space, and it's an important thing. We want your opinions, because here we are kind of using you as a focus group. We're saying here are all these amazing ideas. They're all fantastic. But which are the ones that we want to make the most? And, you know, so if you had a lot of money and you were kind of a foundation or something, oh, sorry, my mic's not particularly great positioned, then maybe you would commission some kind of research group to go out there and interview people. But, and then say, I like that one, I like that one. We're just getting you to do that for yourselves. So this is the beginning of kind of drilling down into exactly what it is that you would like to do. So this workshop's all about you coming up with your own vision and imagining the world that you want to create. And I think we've made that point pretty clear. But here is where it happens. And this is the structure. Me and Abby have been joking about Mr. Structure coming through the door. There are deadlines. It's time to stop the fully open dreaming. There'll still be a bit of room for dreaming later on, I think. Yeah, it's time to choose. So, but before you do, before I explain round two, what I want to do now is just talk a little bit about where you are going. And I've got some stuff I want to do, so I'm just going to do that now. Just hope this will help you when you decide for round two. And I'll explain what round two is all about in a moment. But in the short term, let's just talk about where we're going. Hang on, sorry, 2 seconds. Okay. Right. So there's a whole bunch of ways of thinking about project ideas. I just want to talk you through a few of them now so that you can have them in your brains, because the next stage of voting, as you've probably gathered, is going to be more specific. It's going to get more drilled down. So I'll maybe start thinking about this notion of what it is you'd like to be doing for the rest of the workshop. So I'm a big fan of the 2x2 matrix. I don't know if you guys have experienced that before, but it's a kind of matrix where you've got kind of one axis along the horizontal and one axis along the vertical, and they've both got kind of two on-off states. So there's kind of like one thing that's true. I showed you one right at the beginning, which was about future speculative and realistic. And that's kind of like a dichotomy. It's kind of a split. You can either think about something way in the future, or you can think about something you can achieve right now. And I think I was also talking about analog and digital. I think I just flipped the whole graph. So it was actually that way. I think there's realistic future there and analog digital there. Something realistic that's totally in the real world, like a t-shirt. Or it could be something totally digital that is completely future, like a chip that goes in your, no, that's not completely digital, is it? Like a computer that watches us all, like in you know, every move we make and gives us live feedback to a chip in our body or something like that. So a good split of the kind of two-way dichotomy. Here's another one, which is more specifically, it's about projects. And oh dear, hang on 2 seconds. Sorry, I have skipped some slides here. All right, well, you have to trust me on this one. So this is let's just take that out for the moment in that case. Sorry, 2 seconds. There we go. I've been copying and pasting slides. Forgive me. I'm just going to do that properly. Give a sneak preview of what's coming next. Oh, it can come next. All right. Sorry, folks. Give me 2 seconds. There we go. Back in the room, and that one goes. Hang on. All right. Sorry about that. So let's think of a 2x2 matrix that has a reduction along the bottom and a end goal along the side, along the vertical axis. So if your means of production is clear, then you know exactly what medium you're going to be working in. You know what you're going to be doing. Whereas if your means of production is unclear, you don't know. You're yet to find out. Do you remember when Matt from Blast Theory was talking about how they use different and they different media, I should say, and they tailor each project to suit the media. So for Blast Theory, it wasn't like we always put on a theatre show. It was like we use whatever is appropriate, whether it's digital or whatever. So that's production. And then the end goal, what are you trying to change? What is your vision? What are you trying to shift? Are you trying to entertain people? Are you trying to do some social good, like help the elderly, let's say, in urban situations where they might be isolated? So then, is your end goal clear? Do you know what you're trying to achieve, or is your end goal unclear? Those are the two kind of splits on that axis. So if your means of production is clear and your end goal is clear, then you've got this thing that, you know, all of these things are just tagged, and I will share all these slides with you obviously in Slack, called color by numbers, which is kind of when you know what you've got to do and you know what you're trying to achieve. So for example, it could be that you have to take the branding of a corporate organization and they're about to launch a delivery service, and you turn it into stuff for their motorbikes and their vans. It's a livery, it's called. So there, it's very clear what you're trying to achieve. You're trying to promote that brand, that corporate organization, and you're also trying to do that through the medium of branding vehicles that are going to travel around an urban city. So you can still do it well or badly, and there's a lot of creativity in that situation. You might think about, you know, putting the logo reflected on the front of the van so that you can see it in your rearview mirror. That could be a really interesting thing. You can still have a lot of fun with that project. But let's call that color by numbers for the moment. So then the next one is if your means of production is clear. So you let's say you like to paint. You like to paint in oils or whatever it is, and then your end goal is unclear. So you don't really know what you're trying to do. You just want to paint. So we'll call that pure expression for the moment. So you're exploring a medium or a means of production. The next one is the quest. So this is kind of a lot of what you've probably been thinking like in your groups, because you're kind of thinking about ideas to achieve something, but you haven't necessarily chosen exactly how you're going to do it. So there's a bunch of ideas that help you get to where you want to go. So I mentioned the elderly earlier. So let's say we want to help elderly people who feel isolated in cities and towns, but we don't know or care actually how we do it, except that we want to do it in the best possible way. So that would be a situation where, yeah, you could try a campaign. You could try, you printed up a bunch of T-shirts and said, you know, help the elderly, and you gave them out for free at a rock concert. That could be a good strategy, or it could be a bad strategy. I don't know. But that would be, you could then dump it and then pivot. We'll talk more about pivoting later, probably tomorrow. And say, you know what, the T-shirt thing didn't work. Let's have a bunch of videos for YouTube, or let's have, you know, a tour where we get lots of artists to curate art about the elderly experience, or something like that. So it doesn't matter what you're doing, but it does matter very much where you're going. And that's the quest. And then the final one, which is called fog, where you have no idea what you're trying to achieve and you have no idea how you're trying to achieve it. And I have to say that is my favorite. And indeed, perhaps you've been questing, perhaps you've been going into the fog. And I want to share with you my personal experience of what it's like to go into the fog. So this is a kind of digression about fog. So when I start a project, I look into the fog and I see a whole bunch of fog. And at the first, I can't see very much, so I have to look quite closely. Maybe that's by doing research or something. And then I see a bright, shiny idea that is gleaming at me, and it's inspiring me, and it's going, oh, come and do this. This will be really cool. So I then move towards it. I see something. Oh, yeah, that's the idea. I love that idea. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And I move along from where I was towards the idea. And crucially, I do that by making stuff. I do that by experimenting and testing and prototyping. I don't necessarily, I don't do that by just talking about it or thinking about it. Talking is better than thinking. But maybe I'll write stuff down. But ultimately, I've got to make something. I've got to make some visuals or a prototype or some kind of rough idea in order to get me closer to that idea. And then I get closer to that idea and I discover it wasn't a good idea at all. In fact, it was a terrible idea. And this is test early, test often that Matt was talking about. I was trying to do this thing. I was trying to make this idea. Didn't work. it's just clearly this is not a good idea. However, I am in a new place because I did all that testing and prototyping. I moved in a new way into the fog, and I now can see that the fog has cleared a little bit, and there's another good idea down the bottom that I couldn't see from where I was before. So all that testing has A, helped me reject that idea, and B, uncovered a new great idea. And off we go. Let's go again to the other idea. Well, hey, this one's going to be great. And I get closer to it again by testing and making stuff and so on. And no, not a good idea, unfortunately. Oh well, let's keep going. Let's not slow down here. Keep going. And there's another good idea, and off we go. And eventually, after, you know, it could be 4 ideas, it could be hundreds of ideas, it could be just one idea. We find an idea that really, really works. And that's the journey we have to go on to get to that idea. And look at the way you could have gone. The idea was already, you could have gone straight from where you are to the big idea. But you can't, because the fog's there. You have to go into the fog and wander around a little bit lost. There's a great diagram that I will show you actually later on about the creative processes, and I'll just reference it now because it's brilliant. It's just this squiggle, and it goes, the creative process, you start here, you go squiggle, 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 and then it evens out, and then you get on with it. But we're still in the squiggle zone. So I'm going to say one more thing about the process that you are going through at the moment, and I think this is going to be something that will resonate with you when you get further down the line. But it's a great piece of work, a great description from this book, which is called Make Space, which is by the Stanford D School, two people from the Stanford D School. I'm a big fan of Stanford D School. And what it is it's the best description that I've heard of the emotional arc that you go through in a journey. So you go through in a project rather. In a creative project, it kind of affects us all, and we have this experience in Modual as well. It will affect you in very different ways, depending on how which stage you're at the project. So I want to just talk you through this. Here's the article here. Again, I'll post all of this on Slack, and I think you will find, as I say, that this is either resonating with you or will resonate with you as you go through this process. Maybe you'll recognize it from previous projects. I don't know. Here we go. So the first thing that we feel is a sense of excitement and limitless possibility. An idea or discovery arrives shiny and new, without the eventual scuff marks inherent in the process of bringing it to fruition. The sense of potential is empowering, yet really, really realistic. I'll give you slides. It's like buying a Ferrari without yet having found a mechanic to service it. Enjoy this part as it happens, but not so much that you're afraid to let it go. So here's where we are right now. I'm hoping you're finding developing ideas exciting. Shortly before, in a little while, we're going to just drill down onto one particular idea, and that'll be very exciting. You'll have found an idea that you really want to embrace. Next phase, and that will probably happen either tomorrow or Friday. Overwhelming complexity. As soon as you dig into a space, you'll uncover a seemingly endless pile of emotional and logistical factors simultaneously at play. This is quicksand. Too much thinking here means trouble. When you're in this territory, focus on doing. Get right to prototyping through quick mock-ups and experiences. Acknowledge and categorize new issues as they arise, but prioritize. You'll never be able to resolve all of them. Keep your eyes open for inspiration and direction away from the soup of complexity. Now, I find this with every project that I do. I find this really, really resonates with me, because you get an idea and you think you know how you're going to do it, and then you start doing it and it suddenly gets very, very complicated, and you just don't know what to do or where to go. And the advice here, again, similarly to when I showed you that journal, is to do stuff, is to prototype, test, and accept that you can't solve every problem, you can't resolve every issue, and where is the way away, where is the inspiration and direction away from the super complexity. So that will be the stage that I suspect you'll be diving into maybe Friday, tomorrow and Friday. So next phase. Unifying insights. Sorry, 2 seconds. Unifying insights. These are of clarity when you feel you've got it all figured out. They are the siren songs, glorious but potentially derailing. Strive with all your might to get to this point, but diligently question this clarity when you arrive. What's going to happen is you're going to get these ideas, and suddenly you'll go, yeah, that's the way to solve it. So there'll be a whole bunch of soup, and it'll be very complex and difficult, and then you'll see a way through. You'll see a way through the fog, a bit like I saw that idea in the fog. Go and discover a new approach, a new technique, a new thing that will integrate into your project. So that's a moment when that happens. Complete loss of, what was I thinking? I can't do it. You can, and in fact you are doing it. This feeling is mostly useless, although it may signal that you should enlist some help to tackle a specific issue. If so, get the help you need. If your loss of confidence is the merely a legacy of some past experience, ignore it by taking new action. So the thing I want to say here is that this is kind of a regular thing that happens when you try and do a project that's a really creative leap into the unknown. You are going to have a wobble. It's a bit like the narrative arc. I don't know if any of you studied the hero's journey or the heroine's journey or anything like that, but there's always a point when it's dark. You don't just get to walk straight up the mountain. There's a point when it always feels dark, and it always feels like you can't do it. And actually, it's just going to happen to you. And maybe it won't, in which case, great. Maybe you'll just stroll up the mountain and that'll be fine. But the thing I want to say is, if it does happen to you, do not be surprised if your schedule freak out. And I find this happens on pretty much every project at this stage in my career. At some point, I go, what was I thinking? I can't possibly deliver what I've promised. And actually, then I go to bed and get up the next day and I go, no, I can't do that, actually. And I'll just get some help, or I'll try it like this or whatever. So if that happens in this process, please come and talk to us. Or your teammates or your project mates or your buddy or anyone else you need to. But don't abandon ship. It's just your regular schedule freak out. The brutal realities of implementation. The brutal reality of implementation. Almost everything you do will take longer than you think because there is a lot more to consider than is apparent. So you will have to make compromises, have the strength to stand up for the right things and the wisdom to let go of the meaningless bits. The ability to know how and when to do this often comes from the proof and intuition you'll acquire through prototyping. So you can't do it all. You just can't. You'll have these ideas that you can already see how amazing it's going to be when it gets out there, and you're going to do this and this. It'll be a social network, and it'll be an event, and it'll be a community, and it'll be, you know, a range of clothing. It'll be merch, and it'll be a film, and it'll be everything. Yeah, sure. Yeah, and it may well be. But we have a schedule. We have the structural energy coming into the room now, and you will need to choose what's important. And we'll help you do that if you need some help. But there is a point where all this stuff just comes down to what's achievable in the time available and what is the most useful thing for me to do to produce what I need to produce. So I wanted to just take you through that process, because I think it's something you're going to hear it echoing in your mind when you remember. When you get into the tomorrow and Friday and next week, these things may come back. And they may be familiar, and I will be showing them to you next week, so you can get a sense of it then. Great. Okay, so I just wanted to run you through that stuff. I hope that was useful. As I say, I'll post all this on Slack. I'm now just going to stop sharing for a moment before we go to round 2, which is going to happen in a moment. Yeah. Tim, how are you doing? You out there? We got a Tim. No, we don't have a Tim yet. I'm mistaken. Tim was in the call, and I think Abby is coming shortly. So why don't I just talk you through what's going to happen next?
Literally,
hey, Abby.
I think that literally may have been the second you called upon me.
Oh my!
I finished.
And we got Tim as well. Yeah. Hello, goodbye. A brief appearance from Tim, a guest appearance. So
you need me or shall I?
I think we're cool, Tim. Thanks a lot. Thanks for coming in. See you later. Right. Okay. Well done. So,
can I just say
please, arrive.
Optimism bias was very much real in myself just then, and assuming that I could do more than I could physically do, I think I underestimated. I'd love to add up exactly how many ideas that that we had all together, but trying to figure out the ones most voted on over 1,000. I'd probably say it's touching 3,000 ideas. My optimism bias just kicked in then, so apologies for the delay on that.
I think we had I hope you had an interesting time. And for anybody who doesn't know the phrase optimism bias, that's when you go, yeah, I can do that. It'll only take me 2 hours. And actually it takes you 2 weeks. But it's kind of inbuilt in humans. We all have optimism bias. So yeah, beware of optimism bias. It's a really useful thing to have in the space. And yes, okay, shall I go through the guidelines for voting? Or do you want to speak to that first, Abby?
I actually just think one of the votes may have just reset on me. So just give me a couple minutes quickly to check this out.
Well, I'm going to talk through very generally the rules for round 2, and we'll take from there. Okay, so there you go. Beavering away in the back to sort you out. Here we are. So here is what's going to happen now. I'm sure you're interested in the fate of your eyes. This is voting round 2. So thank you for bearing with us. This is the final vote in this stage. There's another thing to decide tomorrow. So to be super clear about this, this is still not you choosing the project you're going to work on. This is just you saying, think of it like you're a focus group. As I said, you're an audience. Which are the ones you go, whoa, I'm excited about, really excited about that idea, or, you know, I think I should be excited about that idea, but for some reason it's not really trust. So what Abby has been doing feverishly behind the scenes is she has been, let's just say Abby has, not we've, Abby has removed all the project ideas that had 1 vote or less. So they've all been taken off the table. Every single idea that is left has been voted on by at least 2 people. So you've now got a focus down. It's still, I would imagine, and Abby will know the truth of this, it's still quite a lot of ideas. So this is where we're going to do a second round of voting. But what I want you to do, and we're going to do all this before lunch, and after lunch we can dissect it. But we've still got 45 minutes, so that's loads of time, to be honest with you. What I'd like you to do is go back into your client groups and just have a chat for about 10 minutes. And it will be about 10 minutes, to be honest with you. So are there clusters? So there's 2 points I want to make here. Are there clusters? Are there ideas that you could just combine together? 2 ideas that are kind of stealing votes from each other. Think about elections when you've got 2 candidates on one side and 1 candidate on the other, and when the 2 candidates combine, they get more votes. Do you want to cluster some ideas? Don't just do it. Get consensus. And also, do you understand all the ideas? Because there's a whole wall of stuff. Do you need to ask anybody questions? We've only got about 10 minutes for this, so it's not going to be a huge conversation. But if you want to ask anybody in the group any questions about any of the other ideas, do so. And then at some point after that 10 minutes time, so I'll give you exact timings later, we will ask you to vote one more time. And this time it is slightly different, because you may have noticed that with the plus and minus sign on your post-it notes, you can make the idea go to 1 or go to 0. You could take it off by pressing the minus sign. You can also increase the number of votes. So for this time around, you've still got 5 votes, but you can vote more than once for an idea. Okay, you don't have to pick 5 different ideas. You can vote more than once for any one idea. So if you want to, you could put all 5 votes on just one idea, which would obviously give it the maximum chance of going through to the next round. I'm going to say that one more time in a different way. You get 5 votes each, and more than 1 vote on a single idea is absolutely fine. Okay, so I hope that's super clear. And spoiler alert, the top 6 ideas are going to go through. So you can't see each other's votes, so that doesn't, you don't need to think about what anyone else thinks of. And we will collate those. I suspect we'll do that over lunch now. So we'll let you know the results after lunch. That's my hunch. Indeed, I think that's going to be the case. So we'll message you when the voting starts. I think we're going to give you another 15 minutes, if that's okay. I think that was all right for most people. But that is basically it. So are there any questions?
I've got some notes.
Oh, you got some notes as well. Sorry, Abby, go for it.
It's all right. So I am there's a couple of groups I'm still working on just now because I just had to redo it. So apologies for that. You guys may see me beavering away, moving post-it notes around. Just carry on chatting, and I'll give your group a little prompt when I'm completely finished on moving those votes around. I haven't deleted the 0 to 1 ideas. I have just moved them far away from your board. So if you want to collect data, collect them, or take a screenshot or whatever for now, they do still exist. They have not just disappeared into the ether. They are just far away from your boards. The ones that have the votes are now inside of the frames. So inside of the initial brainstorming frames are now some nice big post-it notes are the ones that all received more than 2 votes there as well. So those are the ones that you're going to be talking about and clustering if need be right now. So yeah, nothing outside of the frame. We are fully inside the box right now.
Inside the box. Sorry to be so conventional, but there's the structure. And just to be super clear, no cheating. No taking up lots of votes. Abby.
Also, I'm aware that I think the voting didn't process if you were using Moreau on your phone. If you struggle to vote, please send a message in your Slack channel, your group channel, and just say, help, I need help voting. And someone will come along to you and input your votes for you. Please do that as soon as you realise in the 15 minutes, as it's very difficult to round those votes up after the 15 minutes. And one last final stress is that when the voting starts, when you press done, that is the end of your voting. If you press done before you've decided your 5 votes, that's what's going to get counted. I'm going to be harsh on this one here because that was quite difficult for me, and I'm also aware that you guys have already got a lot. You've got much less to vote from on this one, so I think you guys can do it. But if you press done, your votes are finished. When you've decided your votes, please press done, and then they will go in. Just as a final confirm on that. I think that's everything.
Okay. Yes, brilliantly explained, and obviously Abby knows the detail of this much better than I do, so that's great to get that clarification. So I'm hoping that's pretty clear, but if you have any questions now, I think we're going to give you till lunchtime to do this. So you'll get a message that says your 15 minutes to vote starts now. I think we'll make that happen kind of 22, quarter to, but you'll get a message, okay? And I think we're just going to say vote and then go to lunch. And we'll see you back here at 2, and we'll go through what happens after that. But there will be time to talk about stuff then. But in terms of voting, is there anything that anybody needs to know that you want to ask me or Abby right now? Obviously, your staff, module staffers will be around to help you out. But is there any questions at all you want to ask now about the voting before we let you go and discuss? I see no questions, and that is good. Okay, I'm just gonna have a little look. No, I can't.
I've got one.
You've got one. Go for it.
Can we vote in different colour groups? No, you are still within your groups right now. So please stick within your groups. Do not stray and vote on any other groups, even though there is the physical ability to.
No.
Please do not do that.
We've installed a virus, haven't we? If you go to the other place, the virus comes onto your computer and it eats your operating system, and you lose all your data.
Yeah, I've heard that it just explodes. So please do not vote on any other groups. I've also got Olivia that says some ideas are a bit vague. Can we flesh them out? Yes, this is the time to go into your client groups and flesh out maybe just a little bit if you need an extra sentence of clarification what the post-it note is, and make sure everyone's on the same board. And also Bharat says, how do I know which tiny post-it note has been voted for? They are the ones that are inside of the frames now. They have been made bigger and inside of the frames. I think that's right now. I'm just going to check one last chart on questions. I will be answering. I can get help answering questions.
Sure. And I want to let everyone go, and that's great. Thanks for asking these questions. Clearly, we need to be a bit more clarity here. But I think that you guys need to go and chat. Devika is saying, is it possible to still cluster ideas if 2 similar ones can be combined? Yes, that's what you can do now, but don't force anybody else to take that on board. You have to agree on it. And Maddie is saying basically the same thing. Yes, you can cluster two ideas together. You can choose just one of them and lose the other one. Said if you've got two political parties, they have the same beliefs, they'll split the vote. If there's just one of them, they've got more chance of winning. So feel free to do that, but we're only going to give you, okay, I'm going to put some timing in there now. It's 25 past. At 1:45, we will start the voting at 12:45, sorry, BST. In 20 minutes, we're going to start the voting. At 1 o'clock BST, the voting will close, and you will then go to lunch, please, and take a nice full hour and step away from the computer. Alrighty, I'm calling it. Final. Pick.
How does everyone feel about the votes, the ideas that have been put forward?
Sorry, just a stupid question. I don't find the plus near the note.
Pardon?
I don't find the plus near the note.
Let me just look at that.
I don't know. How can I vote?
Yeah, I don't get an option to vote either.
It's not coming on until 1:45, I don't think.
Oh yeah, the voting's not starting yet.
Okay.
We just discussed it for now, just to see if we want to combine any, I guess.
Yeah. Has Naked Weddings genuinely made it on?
What?
It seems so.
Naked Weddings could go forward as a genuine contender in this competition, which is incredible.
I don't see it. Oh, I'm an orange group.
Get on the program. Repeat performance of no more plastic bags.
I was just wondering who put the one plots with labeled plants for each color dye that they create. I was just wondering if they could like clarify what that is or like what that means. Don't know. Does anybody put that one?
Oh, I think that was me.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. I just was wondering.
I think just like, so it will be like veg plots or like food banks, I guess, and they'll be like labeled for, so like say you had like a beetroot plant or like a red cabbage plant, then it would tell you what dyes could be created from when you boil those.
Oh, sick. Cool.
So you could cook with them and then obviously use the food, but then also dye with the like the water that's made from it. Should I expand on that? Should I type something else into that? I can plot.
Yeah, but then sort of like, you know, the less you flesh it out, sort of the more, I guess. If you want to flesh it out, go for it. You know, just.
Oh, you mean because then it can't be like, I guess like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but then I think if it like explains the idea more, so like, because obviously everybody else is going to be looking at these ideas, but then it's probably just because obviously we're just the next round of voting is within like the groups or whatever. Probably worth just explaining ideas. So like, you know, if there are ideas that people don't get, just ask, talk amongst yourselves, see if you want to group anything together. Like, you know, even though I think from what I've just seen, they're pretty different. Oh, I like the statue one. A lot of plant stuff here.
I would like to know more about the
disaster prediction module, because actually I feel it's really difficult to predict on anything in the future, especially when you are talking about risk. The fact that the standard you set probably will cause more risks. It's like the risk is something inevitable in modern society. I don't know what kind of the prediction module the idea thinker is like have the intention to predict the disaster.
This was my posted for the disaster management. The idea behind that, while I wrote it, was let's say like the given COVID condition, right? When it first started out or when it first broke out, like people, like different nations had different prediction models, but none of like in my country especially, like it was not followed very well. So if we have like a standard prediction model or a better prediction model for it, then maybe like a standardized way of predicting like how the growth of that virus would be or how big it would be, then maybe it could have been tackled better. Also, I'm not sure, but like Bill Gates once predicted that such a virus would hit like the world soon. So like I don't know how he predicted it or how he spoke about it. So maybe like we can follow that up or something like that. So that was my idea behind it.
But I still think even if we have a standard thing, it's really difficult to apply to like a single standard to every countries, because people have different cultures. Like maybe some countries, they just easily to follow the authoritarian policy, while other countries, the people there might not really like the idea to be forced to do something. So it should be, I prefer like the country themselves to think about the policy instead of a universal standard for every countries.
Okay.
By the way, guys, I figured two of them are quite similar and can be combined.
Yeah.
Two ideas. There's one, so like the veg plot lands with colored dye is basically the same one as the one on the very bottom left, which is like research for traditional skills such as natural dyeing, sewing, and foraging. I think they're really similar.
Yeah, they were both fine.
I think those two can be combined into one.
Okay, I'll combine them. 1 minute. Will I just copy and paste the?
You can just drag them. Pretty sure you can.
I can.
Actually, it's probably better if you copy and paste. Yeah, I can do that for you if you want. You don't have to worry about it.
Oh no, I can. I'm on it now. I think. Okay, I think I've done it now. So can we delete that, the zine one?
I would, yeah, because it's now just one idea.
How do you?
Well, it depends. Oh yeah, so you combine them both together.
What's the one which the app that dictates text from photographs? Like what does that mean?
That one was just like, imagine you take a photograph of a page of a book and it would read it out to you.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
I think
something like that already exists though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can do it with like translations and stuff.
I know you can like paste text into a website and it reads it out for you, but I didn't know that there was like one that you could just like maybe text that's not online or in a PDF format. I didn't know you could just take a picture of that, like a book that you've got to hand.
True.
Yes, you can just use the Google Translate, the app. You can take a picture and the app will directly turn it into text. And yeah, I think it could read it out if you want to.
Oh, cool.
I think you don't need to get rid of it just because it already exists, though, because there are like different avenues it could go down. You know, as like an idea.
Yeah.
For example, you know,
Like-
like actually be like an app that could hypothetically read out pictures. Is that what you mean, Juliana? As in like bits of art?
I mean, in theory, it could be everything.
Yeah, so you
open
know,
to interpretation.
I think the fact that there's a very like similar thing, it might be very different. So you know, just in case anybody wanted to get
It
rid
would be
of
cool if it like translates, you know, like, you know, when you have like you're traveling and you're like in a country which has like really different like language to you, and you can just like take a photo of like a sign and then it translates it for you. I think that'd be quite cool.
Or even like food ingredients, like just knowing what's in it if you're vegan or vegetarian.
Yeah, true. Like if I was
ingredients reader.
Like if I was in China, I'd like have no idea if anything was vegan or vegetarian until I like ordered it. If I had like a way to take a photo and then it like understood the picture, and then like, that'd be quite cool.
Yeah, that would be handy.
I also want to know more about the further research in death and afterlife. I don't know who's the idea thinker of this.
So again, me.
Oh wow, that's a great idea. Well, we're interested in I vote for this, so I'm interested in afterlife as well. But I don't know like what's the field, what's the subject that might involve with studies of afterlife and death. Like it's a very
I don't
general.
know either. I don't know either, so that's why I thought that that could be something that we can explore further.
There's a VR experience of a near-death experience. I think I remember reading about that.
Yeah.
And
like that's a very open-ended idea that I put up. I don't know how it will go forward from there.
This is something that I've been really interested in as well recently because of the situation I'm in here. And I think one thing that seems to be really lacking, say with my family, is an ability to just have a language to talk about death. And I think something around the language that we use to talk about death would be really interesting and something that could facilitate those kind of discussions.
I was like, on a personal level, I filmed like some like scientific studies on DMT, and like that psychedelic is very like closely related to death because you release it in your brain when you die and when you're born. So it's like an experience that you will probably have when you die, amongst other things. And I thought it was interesting because I think psychedelics, like the use of psychedelics, really like kind of like creates more of a vocabulary around it that you can kind of like understand it a bit more than like I don't know.
Interesting.
And maybe also LSD has a similar kind of effect when you come to feeling the ego is kind of distracted from the flesh body.
Yeah, there is ego death, very much so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, very much so from
I saw some ideas in our previous, like the map. There's something about psychedelics. Yeah, could be like mingle them together.
What into this specific
death and afterlife, or maybe I think maybe religious scripts, they have some description about afterlife.
Just to let you know, voting's gonna start in 7 minutes. So
there's I haven't read it, but there's like the Tibetan Book of the Dead. It's like we're talking about like meant to be read to people as they're dying to help them go into the afterlife. And like Timothy Leary's psychedelic experience is like based on that for when you're tripping. as an added note.
Everybody, just before we go into the voting, feeling like pretty confident with the ideas. Everybody knows what they mean. It's like pretty self. Are you all on the same page with the ideas now, or is there stuff that people just want to quickly go through?
I want to ask another question about the interactive hubs, which educate on systematic reason. So the hub is something like a physical space, or I don't know.
That's the sort of like stuff that gets worked out like later, I think. So just like as a, you keep it pretty open, because I think if it's too closed now, then you know.
Yeah,
so that they're the kind of questions for the.
I have a question for like Dream Translator.
Yeah, even I was thinking who wrote that. I want to know further about it.
Because like I think there is like some basic ones online, but I'm curious like why they wrote that down. Yeah.
Oh, I wrote that one. It's just a random idea that came up with. Like if you could like, I don't know, plug in your brain and then like writes what everything means. Or I don't know. But I feel like something like that already exists. Like on the internet, you can just search up what does like dreamy.
Yeah, there are certain things, but I don't think they're like as like accurate as it could be. I think like they can be sometimes too generalized. Like, oh, this means that and that means that, but I don't think it necessarily does always mean what they say it means.
I find that also it's very text-based. Like I can imagine a dream translator being more like you just pick on the images that you see and that would generate some kind of fun story.
Yeah, I like that. You can be like more archetypical with it, like by kind of like picking general like image symbols or shapes.
The thing with the Dream Translator is kind of similar to the dictionary for smell, sound, and touch as an undescribable experience. It's like got kind of similarities there. Do you think we should like pair them together?
Yeah, that idea is mine. The undescribable experience. Like something is really hard to describe by text. And also maybe dream translator is some abstract like feelings. Yeah.
I mean, I was imagining the dictionary in kind of an abstract way anyway. Like I wasn't imagining it in like and I kind of felt that the Dream Translator was also quite an abstract like idea as well. But they kind of touched on similar themes of like trying to capture the experience of like dreaming, which is an indescribable experience for many people. So I thought they were quite similar. They were both really interesting ideas, but I think they touch on similar themes. But yeah.
So one question about the bags made from stems of plants. What exactly was the idea behind it?
I done this course. I went to Iceland and we made bags out of like I think it was dandelion stems, and we like pleated them all together and made them into bags. But I don't know. That was just like a idea that I put out there that we could somehow, I don't know, I guess like just create lots of like sustainable bags that you could use instead of the plastic ones that are in the shops still. I don't know. It was just an idea. Quite broad.
I think it's in like
What was that? Sorry.
I think it was in New York that they've just banned using plastic bags. So.
Oh, nice! I didn't know that. I need to look that up.
Veronica, am I saying your name right?
I think it's in like Rwanda actually, where they have like I think cling film. You have to have a permit to use cling film. They don't have plastic bags, and they're like one of the most like eco-friendly countries. And I think it's because like after the genocide, like I don't know how long, it's like 10 years ago or so, they had like made it you had to have at least 30% of women in politics, and now they've got like 60% of their politicians in power are women, which I think is quite cool.
Cool. I look up to. Thank you.
I was just going to ask if we could, I'd really like to strengthen that research in death and afterlife one. And I wondered if we could change the language of it to make it sound a bit more certain, like it's a device to improve people's experience of dying, or it's an app which researches death and the afterlife, or...
That would be a case of if you vote, so the ideas will then, that at the moment they're very open-ended, so you have to like literally in a minute go and vote, and then I think once those ideas are sort of narrowed down, that's when you start looking at the language and what this project actually is. So stuff like that, so that's a bit
okay, cool.
Hang fire.
Cool.
So voting starts now, so if you want to go into Miro, if you have any issues, just DM me or go onto the tech group chat. But yeah, knock yourself out.
So Hannah, do they have to be ordered, like your first vote is the one that you like the most? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
I don't think so.
No, whatever.
No, it's very so. It comes down to a case of which one has the, so try and, sorry, the microphone's low. So try and see like each little vote as like more of a tick, and the more ticks something has, you know, the further that will go, if that makes sense.
Great.
Could anyone explain what's a reusable water bottle holder?
Again, it was a. I don't really want to go forward with that one, but it's it was just like netting that I found on the ocean, and I like made like water bottle bags from it, but I don't think it's
okay.
like to hold like reusable water bottles, if you know what I mean, like because you know like everyone's got like these canteen water bottles now. It's like supposed to be a bag that I don't know, made from you. We've all got pretty good ones. I think that this is pretty strong.
You can also vote for one idea more than once.
Yeah, so if you really like an idea, you can just put 5 votes.
Yeah, you can. I'd advise to not put all your eggs in one basket, but
yeah.
But then equally, do whatever you want.
I just like I don't know. It's I guess like we're already voting, but after we've combined like the dictionary for translator for dream, senses, feeling, and abstract experience, it kind of like also encompasses death, I guess, like a dictionary for death and those experiences that we don't know.
Promising.
So just an idea.
I feel like there should be some music on again. It feels weird when there's not elevator music. But then I'm fully aware that you're all doing things and I just sort of stare at you, which is really weird. I assume you're all pretty on it. There's absolutely no problems. You're all good?
Yeah.
Do we have to do anything now we've voted?
Once you've voted, go for lunch and then come back at 2. So yeah, that is it. Like I said, walk away from the screen, watch some yoga with Adrian. I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably never gonna do it, but I think I watched about 5 seconds and I'll yeah, watch some yoga with Adrian, eat food, go for a breather. Yeah, so great work this morning. I don't know how you managed to filter down nearly 500 ideas. In fact, we'll basically do 500 because you but yeah, no, well done. Watch some TV, maybe stay away from the screen. Enjoy the lunch. $2 o'clock. Remember, I'll send you a reminder, but 2 o'clock.